establish how awful it is to be a candidate. The reality is there's a number of people in here, excuse me, a number of students, and others, who I'm hoping will one day run for office. Give them a sales pitch. So we just explained to them why it's an awful, terrible thing to be a politician. And yet you're doing it, or you have done it, or you believe in it, and you're passionate about it, and it matters. So share some of that passion, and you can convince some young people in this room to run for office.
So that's a great question. The reality is, and I think that this is important, I didn't seek out this opportunity. I was actually invited, and I think that that's kind of an important thing. Like, I've been around politics for quite a long time. I've been around, like I said, for 8 years. I've been involved with the Nova Scotia Liberal Party here. I always thought that it was important that candidates be invited to run, and some of my political mentors imparted that on me as well. So I would say the first thing that you should do is, if you're passionate about politics and making a change in your community, is just get involved at the grassroots level. Personally, my journey, I started off as a summer student, fresh out of university, and I walked into an MLA's office one day, and that's the reason why I'm on stage right now. So 8 years ago, I became a summer student for a long-serving MLA in Kings West named Leo Levine. I walked into his constituency office. I was basically looking for a summer job, and I got to see the work that an MLA does day in, day out. And the reality is that a lot of times in constituency offices, the people that are coming through that door, they could be having the worst day of their life. They could be looking for housing, they could be fleeing a domestic abuse situation, but they're coming to you for help. And I got to see what an MLA can do to help people, and I really took a liking to that work. So over the course of the summer, I can remember when basically the contract came to an end and there was no more room in the budget to pay me. I continued to volunteer because I really enjoyed working with Leo and seeing the work that he did. So after that, I basically got involved in the 2017 campaign. We were successful in the 2017 campaign, and I had the opportunity to go to Halifax and take on a more senior role, essentially as an EA when Leo was in cabinet, in a really interesting portfolio, which was communities, culture, and heritage, which is honestly the funnest department of government, because basically what you do is you just support community organizations. You're funding a lot of interesting things. So that was a great experience. After about 2 years in that department, I got a call from Randy DeMori, who was the Minister of Health at the time, and he asked me if I'd be interested in coming to the health department, which was exciting and also terrifying, because as anybody in this room would know, the health department is a large department in government, and it's a political lightning rod. So I was being asked to move from a department that was largely good news, and some would call it, you're not really on the defensive when you're at CCH. You're delivering good news to a lot of people, and it's an arts-based, fun department to work in. Switching to the health department, which is a giant, scientific-based, very fast-paced, and you're dealing with a lot of very difficult situations. So in 2018, I had the opportunity to be the EA to the health minister. It took about a year to figure out how that department worked. And once I got my feet underneath me, I figured out how a cycle worked in that department, then COVID hit, and that changed everything. So I was the EA to the Minister of Health for 3 years, until 2021, when we suffered an electoral defeat, and I spent a year in opposition. And in 2022, the MP for the area, Cody Boyce, called me, and he asked me to come back to the Annapolis Valley as Chief of Staff. So I did that role for 2 years, which was fantastic. I got a sense of how things work in federal government. And after that, I was basically approached by the King South team, and they asked me if I'd be interested in running. So that was my journey. I've seen everything from basically to a summer student to a chief of staff position, and now I'm a candidate. And like I said, I started my pathway simply by showing up one day to an MLA office. I had no intentions of following this as a career path or getting involved in politics, to be honest. But life has a funny way of taking you in a direction if you just show up. So if you're interested, just show up.